There. Aha. Aha ha ha. It's a stream. Nice sounding. No. That's fine. Ah, that's better. There we go. There we go. Alright. Sorry. It's a stream. We're here. Hold on. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Wow. Good day to you. Wherever it is, wherever you are, or whenever you are. Oh boy. It is a stream. It's a Tuesday. It is. Oh, Twitch there. Aha! Appropriate. Oh man. Feeling a little bit tired today. I don't know why. Slept plenty. Sometimes it just happens. Anyway, we're here. We're going to do some art streams. I had a good time yesterday with a nice chill stream. We'll keep it going today because I have a piece I need to finish. Or, yeah, and such. Hey, Red. Welcome along. Hope you're doing okay. I don't have anything else to talk about, really. I don't think so. I'm just thinking. Oh yeah, I hope you had a good weekend. Actually, yeah. How did How did the all third-party D&D session go? I've been waiting to hear. Ah. Mm. Oh. Well, forgot half of the Flee Mortals Orc abilities, but it was still fun. Ah, yeah, that'll happen. Ah. Oh, I don't think you were here yesterday, Red. So I was talking about. We played some Icon on Saturday with. It was me, Havoc, and Key because other people were unavailable from our usual group. We played some Icon, which is the fantasy game from the Lancer devs. It's much better. You can get through a session, you know, you can get through combat in like less than 2.5 hours. It's great. It's not as much to remember. It's actually fine. It was okay. And there's some more stuff to out of combat, which is basically just Blades in the Dark. With, you know, clocks and fate and d6 rolls. I actually enjoyed it. Yeah, it does have it does have a few of the similar kind of problems, but they're not nearly as pronounced. Which is there's a fair bit of combat abilities, but we were low level, so it wasn't too bad. And there are a lot of like proper nouns, like, you know, specific proper nouns for the abilities that, or for things from your background that are easy to get sort of hung up on, because, you know, it's a knack or a power or a thing, or it's not like okay, what is that one again? What is this? But it was fine. And there is like a whole long list of conditions and effects and abilities and things. But each class or subclass or whatever only needs to care about only really interacts with a few of them at a time. So, yeah. If you're a player, then you just need to learn what those things mean, and that's it. You don't need to know everything else, which is great. So yeah, that was a fun time. Oh, well, I'll tell you more about it when we hang out on Thursday. D&D. But yeah. Might run something again like that. Yeah. Something like that again, yeah. Alright, well, speaking as we were, unaccustomed as I am, no, speaking as we were of D&D and other similar things, let's get to some art, and we can have a look. And I confess that I actually started a bit of shading and whatnot last night because I couldn't leave it alone. So let me just leave it as where it was yesterday, and we'll go over there. Oh, no, there it is. Whoop. This is more or less where we left off yesterday. And Goliath Warlock is one of those like random character generator ideas. So let me add back in the layers. Put these bits here, this here, and some like there. So I've got to start on this, and I'm going to keep going for the rest of that. That's what we're going to do. And I'm also going to... I don't remember where I got to on the Big Giant Circle player list. Let's just start up here. There we go. But yeah, you know, sometimes I will play around with like random character generators, and there was like Goliath Warlock. Hold on. Where's what I was basing it on? Or the sketch thing. Yeah, definitely Airbender vibes. Yeah. Yeah. Where was the sketchy? Ah, it was here. You can see I made a Hero Forge to base it off of. You can see there you've got, like, you know. And then did my own version of this. And I was like, Genie Warlock, because why not? Anyway, that was the sketch, and this is taking that to a finished place. Let me get the thing. But yeah, it's funny because you know, it was a combination you don't see. Whoops, that's the eraser. You don't see very often. And I guess I, you know, also just realizing that I missed. No, wait, I missed some spots. Yeah, let me go and fix that real quick. Yeah, I guess they are Airbender colors, yeah. But actually, you know, that kind of fits. If we go with, like, I said, you know, Genie Warlock, and with the 5e Genie Warlock, you can choose from, you know, you can choose one of the 4 elemental genies, I guess, yeah. And they are, you know, air, earth, fire, water. So, you know, you could have a Jinn. So that would be the air, and that would work. We'll call it an intentional reference, and not an accident. Alright, let me get some more of this. Okay, I just need to reselect this color, because there we go. Good. I also realized, like, I should maybe make the rest of this stuff a bit more interesting, because it's just kind of bleh. But let me just do this first. Yeah. Tidy that up. Oh, hold on. I'll probably put some shading on there in a minute. First of all, see you there. Yeah. It not perfect system. Like I said, I did this kind of like very haphazardly last night just to get myself started. And because I can't leave well enough alone. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to play around with some shading and we'll try a few things. We'll have to decide as well. I think the light is coming from, if the shadows are it's kind of coming from like up here. Let me put that somewhere. Boop. Give it some grain. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. There's a bunch of different things we can do. There's always, you know, there's always more you can do. Which is kind of the problem, you know. There's always more. You have to kind of, you know, being able to spot when enough has been done is a tricky thing. Whatever, I'll figure that out. Okay, so if it's coming from up here, definitely like, and also like this is going down into the armpit area, so that's going to be in shadow anyway. This is underneath the strap, which is going to do the same thing. And this is behind some stuff. Let me just fill that in and then like erase that little bit there. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I have so many of these. Just waiting to see the light of day. Who knows if they will. Probably not, statistically speaking, just because there are too many of them and not enough games to play them in. But that's alright. How does that look? How rotating chair one-shots? Meaning like what? Like other people take the DM chair? Because that's the problem. I can't play them if I'm running the game. Take it in turns. Yeah, okay. Interesting. I think it's kind of like coming from back as well. Let's try that. That'll have some shadow because of the finger above it. I think that will as well. I mean, you just end up trying these things and seeing if it works. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Oh, this should actually have some... Right, I'm just going to switch that to another colour so I don't accidentally fill in with white when I don't mean to. Oh yeah, and I should colour the gem in a different colour as well. Let me just do that now. I think what I want is like a nice, yeah, like that. Is that too distracting? Let me see. Let's try it and find out. That might be a bit saturated. A bit too saturated. Yeah, that's drawing a bit too much attention. But I like the colour, so let's go for a less saturated version. Oh yeah, that's better. Definitely better. Okay. And now... bit of this. Give it some of this. There. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work for now. the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill this in, and then this is one of the tricks shading. Sometimes it works to fill in the whole area and then erase the bits that are in the light rather than doing it the other way around. It should be hitting kind of sort of that area. Maybe. And it doesn't have to be like completely perfect and accurate. It just has to look. It just has to look good enough. As I've said many times. That's just how it goes. Anyway. And I'm not like, I don't know. Shading is still one of those things that's very, I feel like I'm not like that great at it. It's very much just kind of a mess a lot of the time. Or at the very least it's just sort of very basic. I'm not getting, I feel super confident with getting real fancy with it. Let's see, maybe just like define a shape like this. And like that. There's also one of the things that happens is where you just go, I think it's supposed to look like this. And then you do it and you're like, is that wrong? Is it? And maybe it is. But maybe it's not. Okay, I think this shape, yeah. Because if I do that, that doesn't look right, does it? No, it kind of does actually. Yeah. And I think I actually want more light on this bit. So let's just thicken that out a bit more. The light edge. Like that. Maybe. Yeah. Wrong color. What if I was wrong? What if I was completely wrong? In fact, I think I was. Okay, good. Okay. Okay. Do I want to do rim light? Just do it like a tiny thin edge back here. And I'll see how that. I'll just see how that looks. No. Or at least not quite. Maybe. I'll leave it in for now. Might change my mind later. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, blip. Alright, what happens if I just fully shade in this bit? How does that look? There. Oh. Well, thanks for the alerts, Chatty. I think you're like 10 minutes too late for the start of all of those things. Oh hey, look at this. Kapow! Get banned. Actually, yeah, I think that is right, to fully shade that whole thing. And also, I might actually... yeah, this should be sitting above that. You know what? Hold on. Let me pull that same trick. I'm just going to shade this whole thing, and I'm going to erase the bits that will be in the light. Which is maybe some highlights like here. And maybe on the top there, like that. No, I think just that bit, actually. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's see about this. Oh, actually, yeah, that whole bit there should be in shadow. It's underneath the hand. It's the real bugger, you know, where you're like, oh, right, there's the things are casting shadows on other things. And actually, this is fine if this is kind of an organic shape and not just a straight line, I think. I mean, we'll try it. Who knows? Wibble, wibble, wibble. I'm actually not entirely convinced by that. I think this also needs to just go up a bit. It's casting a shadow too low down. I think, in fact, I think, no, I think that still is. I don't know what other word my brain was trying to get out there. Okay, hold on a second. Wait, is that? Oh no, okay. I just need to color it in properly. I missed a bit. It happens. Oh no, I still have the shading color. We're okay. Come back to that bit. This should maybe just does that look about right? Oh, that actually really helps it pop up off of the, yeah, that stops it looking flat. I mean, that's what shading is supposed to do. Sorry, I need to. My radiator decided to make a high-pitched whine that probably, that I hope wasn't coming across. And now you get to enjoy all of those noises. But luckily we're back. And everything is fine. Might just turn the music up a little bit. There we go. This should maybe kind of... And at some point, yeah, when I'm done with this, I'll go in and add like the sort of the very dark spots. Oh, I just color picked the wrong thing. I'm on the wrong layer. It's alright. There. Alright, let's see. Actually, if this is pressed close, there shouldn't be too much of a shadow from it, should there? But this will have a shadow. The other day I was I've been watching some art streams, and you can tell the people who are very good or very practiced, or just, you know, because they are having like a full-on conversation with chat or whatever, and don't really stop to think about what they're doing. And let me tell you from experience, that's hard enough when you're gaming. But it's, oh man. I don't know how they do it. Well, practice, I guess, so that it comes naturally. It's like, how do I how do I do things? How does anything work? Oh yeah, even though the lights are coming from that's above that, so it'll be casting a shadow. Oh yeah, holding a conversation takes brain power, and streaming takes brain power unto itself. It's like, yeah, I don't really want to, like, there are some games that really require complete brain power from me, and those are not ones I really want to play on stream, because that usually means that I'm just not interacting with anybody. And you know, that's part of the fun for me of streaming, so I don't want to, you know, deprive myself of that. I mean, I know that's why some people will watch certain streamers though, because they're, you know, they're really good at whatever game it is. Although, like I said, if you're really good, you can probably do both. You know, but I only got so much brain power to go around, you know. You can just hear the... If you hear a whirring noise, that's not my computer. That's just... That's the brain, you know, spooling up. Let me thin that out. Come here. want. Crunch. Excellent. Good. Good. This strap. Okay. I think most of this is going to be in shadow. And you know what? Fill Bucket to the rescue. Fill Bucket strikes again. And just define some highlights. That looks better. That gives these a bit more shape to these shapes. Does that work? Oh yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. I do think I do need those like black splotches to actually make it work. So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna add some of those. Simply split your brain in two like an artist dolphin hybrid. Yeah. How hard can it be? Yeah, dolphins are built different, yeah. If it were me, I would simply use half of my brain at a time. Rip to everyone else, but I'm different. Yeah, that's coming together. It's starting to look like a segmented belt of... I mean, does it make a ton of sense? No, not really, but I don't care. It's called fashion sweaty, look it up. There we go. They call me man. Oh no, hold on. That's Professor Farnsworth. Like, they called me mad. They said the dolphin couldn't be taught Photoshop. Its flippers can't use a mouse. Oh my, no. Oh, hold on a minute. Yeah. Just a little bit there. Mad? And why? Because I dreamed of a race of octagonal... of radioactive supermen with octagonal shaped bodies, and I think that's from like the first episode. No, like that's early Futurama, but I forget which episode. Okay. Right, where else can we put in some properly dark shadows? I think like down here. Oh, it's auto-saving. Stand by. Like that. Yes, but no, but. Up here. Oh, definitely here. all the way up to the top? Let's try it. See how it looks. That work? Yeah, I think so. Ooh, demo. Ah, demos, eh? Esoteric Ebb, or Esoteric Ebb? I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce that word. 5e Disco Elysium star. Oh, interesting. I'm just glad that, you know, some people are taking cues from Disco Elysium. If you're gonna emulate a game, I'll take a game for inspiration. It's a pretty good one. Alright, I'm just gonna try filling that whole thing in with black and seeing how it looks. Yep. Yeah, I think that's fine. Still a right-hand dialogue bar? Honestly, yeah, actually. Because now... Yeah, because it's either that or like the... What's the other common one? It's the... just putting it at the bottom of the screen, right? Which had its place in the style of the time, but may have had its time, I don't know. Maybe not. No, that doesn't work. It needs to be in the sort of like places where there is definitely always going to be like some very dark shadow. Once you have 3D models with all animations and cutscenes, it's much easier to justify the screen on the left. Could be. This is also where we find out that I'm just making this up as I go along. I gotta remember to draw from the shoulder more, or the elbow. Gotta avoid carpal tunnel if you can help it. Still not convinced by that. I think we should have a little bit down here. That seems correct. That seems better anyway. Because I'm trying to figure out like the big sort of like chunky black shading that I see people use. Like, oh, like a Hades style kinda. Although it's not always black shading, but like you do have a like how are you deciding where to put? I mean, I'm sure it's just like you know, the light's coming from here, so the shading should be here, and they just do it in a very stylized way. One of those things that looks really good, and I don't know how the hell you do it, like that sort of thing. Like, see, that doesn't look right. All right. Okay, I've done a few little bits to indicate what. See, this is why it takes me a long time to do things as well. So I'm figuring it out. And we're gonna do the same here though. We're gonna just fill it in and then erase. Again, bigger movements. Just round that out some more. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going into the zone. I need to put both brain cells on this. Come on, boys, work together. Figure it out. I think once again I can get away with whoop. Oh, right. So my color selection what was happening there? Because I can select between two colors, the foreground and background color, but I can also press C to set the color to erase. I was filling in and it's like, why isn't it filling? Because I had set it to fill with erase. That'll do it. Just gonna do that and try and decide like where are the light areas. Maybe kind of like maybe just a touch in there. The edge of the robe, maybe. But yeah, I was saying, you know, oh, how do they figure it out? It's like, you know how they do it. You know how. It's always just study, reference, and then stylizing it from based on that. It's the same as it always is. Aren't really any shortcuts to that. It turns out. Well, I guess there are, I mean, not exactly shortcuts, but, you know, there are methods that will help you learn things faster, for sure. But you can't really, a lot of it's just how to practice better. The one thing, because I've been watching a bunch of, you know, tutorials and videos about this sort of thing. And I think a big one that comes up a lot that I see that's really common and is applicable to, well, pretty much anything. And that is practicing with intention. I didn't do a warm-up today. Now I can do a warm-down if I finish this. This might take all stream, who knows. But anyway, what was I saying? Yes, practicing with intention. Basically, like, you will learn something, or at least you'll train your muscle memory if you just are doodling. Or like drawing certain things, or just like, oh, I'm gonna draw some faces or whatever. Like, that will get you something. But if you want to get better at hands, you have to say, I'm going to draw a bunch of hands, or you have to spend time and actually like think about and you know, deliberately practicing that one thing, or doing studies with the idea of it's what is it? Yeah, it's actually reminds me of like a Matt Colville thing, actually, that he said about D&D or running games. And it's basically you need to have a good verb, and get better is not a good verb. Improve is not a good verb. You need to actually be way more specific. If you want, you're like, oh, I want to get better at drawing hands, or whatever it is. It's like, then, you know, then you can narrow your focus down when you're practicing. I think he was just talking about like designing like problems for parties, or like puzzles or something. It was something like that, something along those lines. It was something like that. I forget what it was. But there's something I see that comes up a lot in like art practice or study, where people are like, just like, you know, copying a reference, for example, without actually like breaking it down and trying to understand it, often because they don't have a very specific goal or verb in mind, where they're like, I'm doing this because I know this is what you do, but they're not actually like engaging with the practice, as it were. It's like, okay, but why are you doing this? Like, to get better. It's like, no, but what are you studying? What specifically are you studying? It's like, oh, I want to study anatomy. It's like, okay, but the anatomy of what? Like the shoulder, or like the leg, or whatever. Like, if you can narrow it down and then work on those parts, and then when you're done with that part, you can be like, okay, I feel better about this now, let's work on something else. It'll be a lot more effective. Or at least it will tend to be a lot more effective. You know, your mileage may vary. Everybody learns in different ways, of course. But by and large, I think it's good advice. And it's something I try to keep in mind. I mean, I still do sometimes just like mindless studying, where I'm just like, I'm just gonna like copy this reference. But then it's just, it's it's deliberate, and that's very much a like, I often do that if I haven't drawn in a while, because it's just a sort of hey, let's remember how our hands work. Let's get back on, you know, back into the saddle of things. Make sure you can lift. I mean, yeah, actually. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And honestly, I find it kind of relaxing because I don't have to... This is going to sound weird, because I do think, but I don't have to make decisions, I think is the real thing. Like I actually find it fairly easy, like just copying a reference, because the way that that works in my brain is that very much is like modding clay, and I know what it's supposed to look like. So I can look at it and go like, is that right? No. Okay, let's fix it until it is. I'm just gonna put all of that in shadow. So it's very much just like, no decisions necessary. It sounds weird to say I can turn my brain off, but that's kind of what it feels like. I'm just like, and go. Tablet pen feels so much worse than the pen I use. Yeah, I mean that's a thing. That'll be different from tablet to tablet, but you know. But at the end of the day, you go with what works for you, right? On tablet, it's wibbly. Have you tried? I don't know how much you've played around with like stabilization features. Because most drawing programs will have those for your pen, often on like a per brush basis, where you can set it or something like that. I know Photoshop and oh no, right, you said yesterday you use Clip. Yeah. So Clip has that sort of thing. But then, like, drawing a straight line is tricky. That's why we invented rulers. More of that's going to need to be in shadow, but at least that bit should definitely be in shadow. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have to kind of just go with what works for you. And the thing with digital is it is very different in a lot of ways to traditional, and that just means that it's going to take practice. Because if you're already like a very familiar with drawing traditionally, you're obviously going to have a big leg up when you get started on digital, but it is a different medium. And I think a lot of people do miss that when they make that transition. They think, oh well, I can draw on paper, so I should be able to draw digitally. It's like, it's not exactly the same. There are a lot of important differences, and it also depend on like if you're using a tablet like I'm using, where I'm looking at the screen, and the tablet is just, you know, a tablet, or if it's a tablet with a screen in it, like the big fancy ones. I'm not sure that shadow looks right, because I don't have a problem doing this. As you can see, like, I'm looking at the screen, tablet is down here, but I know that some people find that very difficult. And it's understandable, because they're used to like looking down and seeing what you're doing, which is probably an easier transition when you have like a big screen tablet. I don't know, maybe. I think actually the shadow's too far away. Needs to come in maybe like up there. But yeah, practice. Sometimes you gotta put some time in, often to make it good. Oh, those buttons should probably be a different color as well. And one thing at a time. Skill in making games that don't really have commission money? True, I suppose. I mean, yeah. There we go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm not. My brain isn't engaged. There we go. Brain cells have stopped, bouncing around the inside of the head like a DVD screensaver. Ha! Yeah, see, that's what happens. Oh, I realized I didn't. I kind of explained it earlier, but it's funny. I've seen people say, you want to draw from the shoulder or from the elbow, and not as much from the wrist. And like, what on earth are you talking about? And it's like, how do I draw from my elbow? It's like, no, it's just the range of motion. Like, don't go. You can go like this, or like this to make a line, or like this to make a line. And if you're doing like the bigger movements, you'll get bigger sweepy lines and won't mess up your wrist as much. And I'm very guilty of doing like the small repetitive motions from the wrist, which is great for detail work, but if you do that all the time, you're going to have a bad time. So this will be. I'm still not like great at remembering to do it. Nope. I know. Refer other layers? Oh, where's it getting out? Whatever. Or if it just thinks those colors are too similar. Yeah, it probably does. It does that a lot. Yeah. pardon me. It's all coming together. Actually, I'm going to do... I'm going to do it the other way around. Yeah. Sure, let's go with that. Yes. So don't mind me just jumping from one part to the other. Parkour! Fill that bit in. I think that bit should just be all filled in. Actually, it's an easier way to do this. There we go. There might be some shadow on, some light on it. So we'll just give it a little bit of a highlight. It's not even really a highlight, it's just getting rid of the shadow. Alright, here's an idea. Now refer to all layers. There we go. Yep, there we go. Now I can just not worry about hitting any other parts. Yeah. Alright, let's do that again for the blue bit. Okay, yeah. If I put like a sort of glowy thing, you know what? Let me try that. I should have, is that my highlights layer? It is. Alright, good, good. I'm gonna select editing layer only. No! Yeah, only those blue bits. Let's choose something like that, I'm gonna say. Need an airbrush. Okay, let's go even lighter. Oh wait, this is set to soft light. Overlay. Ooh. That actually looks pretty good. I may have to get rid of that shading though. That wasn't even turned on. What happens if I just set it to normal? Then you wouldn't need. There we go. Let's have a look at that. That makes it look like a glowy thing, doesn't it? Okay. I am gonna get rid of this bit, or at least no. Let me just cut it to a new layer, set it back to soft light. This is one of those things that happens where I have too many layers because I'm trying too many things. But it's okay. I think that, yeah, no, that looks good. It's a glowy ball. It's a glowing lamp of some kind. It's clearly magic, you see. And once again, I'm rushing ahead doing like highlights before I'm done with it. Before I'm done with shading. Alright, back to shading. Wait, did I not? Oh no, that's what I want. There we go. Beep. Okay. Is that right? No. Oh, yeah, in fact. Let's do that. Yeah. Oh god, is my tea gone cold? Not quite. It's tepid at best. Oh well. Look, I'm not going to the kitchen to put it in the microwave. I can live with it. I can live with it. Yeah, in fact, if I want to match up with this part here, computer, erase that entire personal log. Yeah. Ah, DS9. DS9, so good. Oh, you gotta. It's so good. It's, you know, it does suffer from the Trek problem of like the first season is not great, but it picks up. When it picks up, it really picks up. It was mid-Pandian station. Oh, right. God, I forgot that was in season. Yeah. Quark insisting he's an essential business. I mean, that's Quark. Making it worse. I mean, yeah. Classic Quark. But yes, I can understand not wanting to sit through that during the height of the panoramic. How does that look? It's not bad. Yeah, okay. Might do some highlighting on the edge here. Maybe just, whoops. No. So this is where you need to do the big like. Yeah. Does that work? Yeah, no, actually that looks good. Yeah, DS9 was basically. There's a really interesting period in like, I guess Western TV. Around that sort of late 90s. When did DS9 finish? Yeah. The PSG boom. Yeah. I'm gonna look it up because I don't know. Because I can't remember. Deep Space Nine. 1999, right. So it was, yeah, right before, not exactly right before, Because Battlestar Galactica was 2004, so it was 5 years before that. When, you know, genre television on TV changed massively. That and Lost. And so it was right before that. It was when it was still like 24 episode seasons, mostly episodic storytelling. No, not before Buffy. It was at the same time, or at least partially at the same time as Buffy. At least I think for some of the seasons. Because Armin Shimmerman, who plays Quark, was on both of those shows. I was watching an interview with him on the Shuttlepod podcast, which is two of the guys from Enterprise do a podcast together, and he was on there and he was talking about how he would have like a 26-hour day where he would finish shooting Deep Space Nine and then go right over to shooting Buffy. And it was like, oh my god, like, why are you doing that to yourself? Like, well, it's more work. And like, yeah, fair. But yeah, it was basically like, it's one of those sort of like it's one of the principles only in 12 episodes a season, yeah. But it was right before, it was, you know, maybe a little bit before we went to like the long-term arc-based things instead of you know, as a rule, instead of 24 episode episodic television, which is what Star Trek had been since since TNG in the 80s, late 80s, I think. So it's before that kind of thing was widely popular, but they still did. They did a lot of arc-based storytelling in the later seasons with the Dominion War, and so it's very kind of, I don't know, experimental. Maybe I'm not sure if that's the right word exactly. And so occasionally you do end up with a sort of an odd problem in the DS9 episodes. It still has episodes that are like very clearly have an A plot and a B plot, right? And the A plot is, you know, the Dominion wants to take over the Alpha Quadrant, and there's a conflict going on, and the B plot is Jake and Nog try and get hold of baseball cards. Like, there can be some very jarring like A and B plot episodes, because they still weren't, you know, weren't always devoting the whole runtime of an episode to the ongoing conflict. But it's clearly like very trying to get in on that like episode, that arc-based thing. Oh, I mean, Nog is a great character. Yeah, that's Quark's nephew, because he starts out as kind of just like well, Jake's friend and a Ferengi, you know, kid, but over time he develops into this really interesting character where he's like, no, I don't care about profit. I actually just want to prove myself that I'm good at, you know, things. And so he joins Starfleet and becomes really oh, sorry. You know, really really gung-ho about it. And you know, it becomes a thing when the Dominion War kicks in, and he's basically like, he's just still an ensign. No, he's not even an ensign, sorry. He's a cadet, and he gets a field promotion to ensign because they don't, you know, we need more officers, we need people to fight this war. And so he goes through a lot of like interesting things by the end of the series. Love the Ferengi, but the Trek strength is when they stop the Empire for the same dude and give depth to it. Oh, yeah. They do that big time with the Ferengi in, well, kind of, yeah, in DS9. And again, from that same podcast I was watching, Armin Shimmerman basically said, because Armin Shimmerman played like the first Ferengi on TNG, and the Ferengi on TNG were horrible. Like, they were not good. They were really awful characters. And he said, like, he was basically like, Quark was him trying to make up for that. Be like, I'm gonna redeem the Ferengi as a species because of the horrible job we did on them the first time around. And so yeah, he very much was deliberately trying to fix some past mistakes, shall we say. Yeah, and I think he's referring like specifically to like the first episode where they are just like really like feral weirdo, like with a electric whip, and it's, yeah, no it's not good. Oh, if you like Worf, you're gonna have a good time with DS9. We get a lot of Worf, coolest guy ever beaten by a blue empty barrel. Yeah. Alright, yeah, that'll work. Oh. But yeah, you do notice for a while that on TNG, Worf's job is basically to be like, Captain, I suggest this very aggressive and tactically sound course of action. And Captain Picard goes, thank you, Mr. Worf. Let's try negotiating. Yeah. Shut up, I hate you. You're like, ugh. Nobody listens to me on this ship. Also, there's a number of times where like an event, something happens, and then Picard goes, you know, Worf, send a message to the Romulans informing them their government will be contacted about this matter. And so Worf, in addition to, can you imagine getting that message from Worf? It's like, okay, now I have to write a message about that. Well, your government shall be swiftly informed of your dishonorable actions. If it were me, I would disembowel you, but I am a Starfleet officer, and therefore I'm not allowed to disembowel people. Yeah, and half of the time he's actually correct to suggest the aggressive course of action, but they just don't do it. Okay. In the D&D show, they were mandated to complainy whiner, so they always made him correct. Wow. Now that's petty. But great. Anytime he thinks it's too good to be true, right. Anytime he thinks it's a trap, right. It's like, why don't they ever listen to him? It's like, because he's whiny about it. And you're like, well, that work? Oh yeah, that works. But yeah, no, Worf Worf does show up on DS9. I think it's season 4. I think it's season 4. And he goes on to stay and actually has some good storylines. And is able to contribute more to more to the show than just Captain, do this and no. Yeah, him and O'Brien. Ah, yes, the most important man in Starfleet history, Miles Edward O'Brien. Lower Decks taught me that. A man who must suffer eternally. Okay. Ah, it's coming together. You know, I haven't seen enough of like actual TNG, like Wesley episodes in ages to really have a proper hot take or whatever. But I feel like Wesley could have worked better, you know. It wasn't strictly a bad idea, but... And he had some good parts, you know, he has some good bits. And he has his moments. But certainly early on they just try to... They kind of push him a bit too hard in terms of like, you know, they showcase him a lot and it was... I mean, early TNG is a real mess. Because they're like still not like, well, actually not to put too fine a point on it, but Gene Roddenberry still has his hand in things and is you know, doing Gene Roddenberry things. Oh god, I've gone too far. Okay. But, you know, it's funny. I do find it difficult to watch Wesley stuff now. Not because, like, not because it's bad, but because I've heard about Will Wheaton talking about how, well, I mean, I guess not. It's not too difficult to watch, but Will Wheaton talked about how he basically never wanted to be an actor and was like heavily pressured into it by his parents. Although he has said that basically the TNG crew became his family because his actual family, or his birth family I should say, were not supportive and did not care what he wanted. So, you know, he grew up, he basically was like, yeah, Jonathan Frakes was the dad he never had, and you know, that sort of thing. And so, and unfortunately, you know, I watch episodes of TNG now, and where he's in it, that thought's in the back of my mind. It's like, man, he didn't want to. Well, you know, he wanted to be there because he wanted to be with people who, you know, actually liked him and cared about him, but didn't want to be on camera. Bryan Cranston tried his best for Dewey's actor and Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah. Oh man, like when you hear about like child actors, it's such a minefield of just awfulness, you know? So many of them have an awful experience being pushed into it by their parents, not really wanting to do it, but being essentially told, no, you will, because This way I get to live out my dreams through you, and I don't care what you want. It's like, oh god. Yeah. And the cash money as well, yeah. It's all... Yeah. A lot of it is not good. Just gonna put that there. Yeah. Oh, I know what it's missing. God, I will never understand people who choose like to hate on a kid for, you know, for acting, for doing so, you know, for being an actor in a show or for whatever. It's like, what? There is something spectacularly wrong with you if that's the kind of attitude that you have. It's like, it's an annoyingly common one, and it doesn't just affect, you know, child actors, but it's like, oh, they play a character that I don't like, therefore it's okay for me to harass them and be mean and horrible to them. It's like, they're actors, my friend. They're actors, my dude. Like, what is... The Rabbitohs of VO for the new Resi game? Boy. It doesn't surprise me. Because I guess they changed it, huh? It's always a vocal contingent of they changed it, now it sucks. Especially if you're, yeah, if you're doing a remake. They replaced the union actor with the actor from Ada from the movies. Terrell Reed's just the worst, actually. Oh, well, that's a shame. It's not her field. Yeah, it always makes me think of Dinklebot. Dinklebot. From Destiny, where it's like Peter Dinklage is a good actor. He was just directed horribly, and voice acting is different from regular acting, from on-camera acting. And you know, oh whoops. But again, it's just like, even if like, okay, yeah, he gave a, even if we agree like, oh, he gave a bad performance, and even if you agree that, even if we could agree that, you know, and said he gave a bad performance and it was his fault, which I don't think is true. But let's say that for the moment we, you know, we could come to a consensus on that. That still doesn't mean that you should harass him. Like, leave him alone. Yeah, I never understand this impulse. It's like, oh, that sucks. They did a crap job. Get on with your life. Jesus Christ. Why does it matter that much to you? Why is this the hill you're gonna die on? I don't know, man. It's the same with, like, you know, like I said, what we were saying with, you know. The other thing, it really, I mean, it bugs me anyway, as you can tell, but in many ways, I don't know if it's worse, but it's a really common thing I see about like child actors. Because like, oh, that kid was annoying, or like I didn't like them, or whatever. It's like, oh, they acted like this. And it's like they're a child. That's how children act. You would know if you had, you know, ever interacted with. Boy. Whatever. Like, I'm not going to be mean to a kid who's not that great of an actor because they're like, what, 12 or something? It's like... whatever. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it is always nice to hear when, you know, like a particular child actor or something, you know, when things are going well and they're having a good time and they're not, you know, being treated horribly or doing, you know, working too hard or whatever. It's like, oh, good. That's good. I'm glad that that's working out. You know, I think the black shading is bringing everything together. I need to do some more up here, but it was the right choice. I stand by it. Anyway, but yeah, I'm just thinking again about DS9. Actually, yeah, another case because you had Cirroc Lofton, who plays Jake, basically grew up on that show, and I've seen him in interviews say that he really did have a kind of, you know, a very paternal relationship with Avery Brooks, who plays Cisco. It's like, oh yeah, well that's nice. I'm glad that, you know, they actually got on and looked after each other. Although it's interesting because I've watched a number of like podcasts and interviews with people from Star Trek, and they say like the next gen cast are all like very buddy and good friends because it was a very a goofy set, and the DS9 crew were very professional. They were like, no, we're here to do a good job, and I mean they did do a good job, but I think Michael Dorn said like when he came on to do Worf, he was like, oh, this is very different, and did get them to loosen up after a bit. Trace's actor says gets annoyed with the new God of War because it's him giving him puzzles. Spoilers. Oh man, and I was really impressed with him in Dad of Boy Ragnarok. He did a really great job. You know, holding his own against Christopher Judge, which is no mean feat. Christopher Judge does a really good job. Harrison Kimmerpow's doing the Delta Flyers pod. Yeah, I haven't listened to that. You should check out though, because Trip and Tucker from Enterprise, our pals, Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating, and they have the Shuttlepod show, which you can find on YouTube, where they interview mostly other people from Trek, whether they're actors or like they had Michael, what's his name? Not Michael Dorn, but the makeup, like one of the makeup major makeup artists that they had on, and Brandon Braga as well, I think. And it's actually, yeah, you know, it's a fun podcast, so you should check that out if that sounds like it's your cup of tea. Oh, the Spy Plotline, Bashir. Heh. Oh man. Like quite intentionally as like an allegory. Oh, you mean Garak? Wait. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh man, Garak is freaking great. One of the best characters on DS9. And that's a show with a lot of good characters. Okay, and that works. But I'm not entirely sure, because there was the episode, Dr. Bashir, I presume, where which was really just a funny, silly camp episode of, oh, everybody gets stuck in the transporter thing, and we basically everyone gets trapped in the holodeck as characters in Julian Bashir's James Bond ripoff, which apparently the James Bond estate was not happy about, or the Ian Fleming estate, or whoever it was. They were like, no, you can't do that again. Which is like, okay, sure, whatever. Oh man, Bashir. Which is just a really funny episode. Because a lot of it is also just Garak just intruding on Bashir's like fantasy and making fun of it, because he's like, you know, I'm actually a spy and this is all bullshit. This is all nonsense. This is not how spies do. This is not how being a spy works. Meanwhile, like, the plot of the episode is we have to buy time so that the technicians can figure out how to get the transporter patterns out of the holodeck so that we don't kill everybody. Which is just, and they're all, you know, acting as the characters in the Holo novel, which is just, it's peak, honestly, it's peak Trek. It's like really silly, but it's just an excuse to have a James Bond episode, and that's fine. That's fine with me. Yeah, peak like next gen era Trek is like something weird is happening with the holodeck. Gotta have one of those. At least one a season, you know? Maybe more. Clean your damn filters. Else Data will do a Sherlock Holmes bit, yeah. How, do you want Moriarty? Because that's how you get Moriarty. Although really you get Moriarty because the computer does because Geordi doesn't understand how to talk to computers. Oh man, yeah. Preferred fiction settings. Yeah, the crew are like, oh yes, we you know, well yeah, it was Sherlock Holmes for Data. Julian Bashir, you know, had the James Bond thing, as we talked about. For Tom Paris on Voyager, there was both the, like, you know, oh no, it was like the Captain Proton. Yeah, Picard, like, you know, Shakespeare and historic and reenactments of that sort of thing. Trying to remember what else. Janeway's. I never quite bought Janeway's, like, you know. Was Fairhaven hers, where it was like, you know, Space Ireland, or it was just Ireland or whatever it was. But I was never too sure about, like, what her interests were. Actually, no, the one I remember, no, there's one with Leonardo da Vinci. I remember that. That actually I liked. That made some sense. Oh, that's right. Her taste in fiction is like Harlequin romance. That's true. That's true. I did forget about that. Yeah, that's true. Do I just maybe I just cut this whole bit out? It's true. It is a subversion of, like, the tough, you know, the tough female character. So yeah, it's got that going for it, for sure. I think I'm just remembering, like, the episodes with, like, Fairhaven were just not good episodes. They were just, like, weird. Yeah. Don't think it was just what they look like. I mean, I think 7 qualifies for that as well, because, you know, 7 of 9 is a really interesting, well, at least from a meta point of view, character, because literally she was created because, for a really dumb reason, because they were like, we need some. I think they were firing Jennifer Lien as Kez, and they were like, we need some booba on the show so that people will watch it. But they actually, like, her character ended up being really good, and they did a lot of great work with her. And Jerry Ryan is continuing to do really good work in Picard season 3. And so they took, like, a really, like, dumb character of just like, we need some booba for the ship, and actually made it into a good character, which is really impressive. And, like, famously, Kate Mulgrew was not happy about that, about the character in the first place, and, you know, didn't get on with Jerry Ryan at first, but I believe they have mended that bridge. They have buried that hatchet. Let's just keep going. You know, it's interesting though. It's like, you know, this season of Picard, I've actually been really enjoying it for the most part. And after season 1 and 2, that's quite surprising. Because season 1 and 2 were just, they were, how you say, not good. We have Paramount Plus for some reason? Oh, you absolutely what? Strange New Worlds, yes. You should. You should. Strange New Worlds is... Picard Season 3 is very good, but Strange New Worlds is like best modern Trek show. Absolutely recommend it. No, that doesn't work. Do you know I've never watched the X-Files? It was not something that I was watching when it was airing. I don't know if was it broadcast over. It must have been broadcast over here in the UC at some point. Although maybe it was on satellite. I don't know. Maybe it was on Sky or something. It was on Sci-Fi? Ah, yeah. Yeah, we didn't have Sci-Fi. We just had terrestrial. Never had any of those fancy other channels. Hell, I remember when Channel 5 came in and it was a big deal. Oh, God. You want to make your bones creak. Grandpa taking it. Yeah, back in my day, we had 4 channels and we liked it, and then we had a 5th channel, and everyone was I don't know, whatever. It's BBC 2 that had the Star Trek for a while. I think it was through BBC. That's where I watched Star Trek. Up until Enterprise, because Enterprise was on E4, no, T4 on Channel 4 for some reason. I guess BBC didn't want to buy the licensing for it. But it was also where I first watched Farscape and Stargate, but I think Stargate was Channel 4 as well. I think it was, yeah. Man, I love Stargate. P90 Supremacy thanks to Stargate. Do you know, as a piece of trivia I remember is that they switched to a different weapon, or at least some characters did in the later seasons, because they had trouble getting hold of blanks of the P90 because of the Iraq War. Because suddenly they didn't have as many P90 blanks to go around because the US Army was using them. Farscape is on Plex? Oh man, well, at least it's on something. Watch Farscape. I might, you know, I might recommend it. I don't know. Not like I did a podcast about it for several years. But again, like that, Farscape was a bit later than DS9. I think it wrapped up in 2002. Was that the series or Peacekeeper Wars? I don't remember. Let me see. Because it was 99 to 2003, And then Peacekeeper Wars was 2004. Okay, yeah. So again, like that was like right before BSG changed everything. And again, it was another one of those like hybrid shows, I guess you would say, where they were not fully committing to doing like arc-based storytelling. That just wasn't a thing that was on people's minds as much at the time. So you still had a lot of like episodic content, like very much so in like the first season, which is by far the worst season, but has some good stuff in it, and has the worst episode of the entire franchise. There's the worst episode of the whole series in it as well, which is one of those frustrating things, you know, when you're trying to get, if you try to get people into it, you're like, okay, season 1 is bad, season 1 is rough, like season 1 is pretty rough, but it has some good bits, but it gets better, it gets better, it gets so much better, please, you have to believe me. It gets so much better. It doesn't get any less weird. It gets more weird. In fact, the weirder it is, the better it is. But it does get better, I assure you. I promise. Sure about that. I will revisit that. It's gonna come up here because I think I need to do some more on the hair if I want to make that work. I've largely left this part alone. But like, if Scorpius showing up doesn't do it for you, then I don't know. Or if by the time, what's the episode? It's if the crackers don't matter. If you watch that episode and you're not on board by that point, you probably never will be, because it's only gonna get weirder and more intense from there. If John Crichton's standing there with like a weird face mask of puke and a sword and like an invisibility cloak and a shield, after being loopy and hallucinating Scorpius in a Hawaiian shirt, if that doesn't work for you, then I don't know what to tell you, you know? Then forget it. Like, go home and watch something more pedestrian. I don't know. I'm making shit up now. Go home and be a family man. And then Firefly, yeah. You know, it's been a long time since I watched it. I don't know how well it holds up anymore. Certainly, as you point out, it's like it doesn't really deliver on a number of things. It's like it's very heavily influenced by like Asian cultures. But there aren't any Asian Americans or Asian actors as in the main cast of the show. So that's, you know, not great. There's a whole lot of really badly pronounced, I think it's Mandarin. I'm sorry if I can't remember what the swears are, what language the swears are in, but I think it's Mandarin swears. But nobody there who, yeah, no. More than the swears. Oh yeah, there's other bits and bobs as well. That was just an example. There's a whole lot of other things. Okay. Oh. So as you can see, this process is still taking a while, but I think we're getting somewhere. Right? I'm liking how it's coming together. I'm just going to put this to one side because I should take a break. Stretch. Oh. Ah. I have some water. Okay. Excellent. Right. I am going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'll continue, see how much more of this I can get done today. That's the other thing, is that I do work, I think I work pretty slow, but we get there in the end. Alright, I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to run a minute of ads maybe. And I'll be back in a minute or two. Stretch, get a drink, do whatever else you need to. We'll be right back. Boop. All right. I'm back in Pog form. There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. All right, man. Come on, behave. There we go. Behave, I said. Good. Oh dear, excuse me. Barp. But yeah. Wondering what shows are going to try and get more continuations, because that seems to be like a trend at the moment. I mean, for one thing, you got Picard, and you know, I'm trying to recall some other ones, but that's the one that comes to mind. And, you know, I feel like I've been hearing rumblings of, you know, more Farscape for years, really, and I don't think it seems very unlikely to me that it's gonna go anywhere, and that's fine, honestly. It was a moment may have passed, and that's okay. I do think on some level, like, we need to be okay with our with shows that we like ending. Like, we need to be okay with, you know, things being done and not like always going for more. It's like, things can have an ending. That's okay. I mean, that's good. You want that. You want a sense of closure. But then... So I think there's a new Stargate show in production, or at least I've heard something to that effect. But, or at least it's in like planning. Somebody somewhere is planning to do something, but who knows? You know? But it's never going to be the same. Something I was thinking the other day is that, you know, obviously TV is very different now, like we were talking about before, with the arc-based rather than episodic storytelling being not just more common, but like the default, certainly for genre TV. But also, like, because you don't get the 24 episode season anymore. That's not a thing. And it might just be partially nostalgia talking, but like a lot of like the newer shows, like the continuation, like Picard season 3. So let me put it to you this way. I can put on I will put on an episode of like Star Trek or Stargate or some other similar shows as a sort of comfort viewing. I can watch it and I can relax and it feels comfortable and familiar and I can relax. But I think a lot of the newer shows are very not only like very serialized and not episodic, but they're also just really intense. And so I don't want to like sit back and I can't just sit back and relax and watch an episode. It's like, and you can't jump in halfway through and be like, okay, no wait, what was going on here? Where were they? And I'm not meaning to say that it's like any better or worse. It's just a different form of television, But I don't really have any desire to re-watch a lot of stuff. Because it's like, if I'm gonna re-watch it, I have to re-watch the whole thing, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Otherwise it doesn't fit. And it's like, that's just way too much of a time commitment. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. This is probably not going to work. Unless it does. Just trying something. We'll see how it goes. Changes how the face looks, but that might actually be better. I think I did make that chin too long. I can fix it in post. Come on, figure it out. It's my fault for doing an up angle. Still not quite. Oh, I think it's the wrong shape. There we go. Yeah, okay. That works better. Very much just playing around until it looks the way I want it to. Nope. Sure. I don't want to overdo it with this, but I'll give it some depth. Okay, I think this bit doesn't work. Starfinder time. Ooh. Have fun storming the space castle. Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for dropping by. Ah. We're getting there. We're getting there. It just takes time. It always does. It always just takes some... It just takes some time. But that's okay. It's just the way it is. And it's been a while since I've done like a fully colored and shaded and finished piece like this, so if I'm going a little bit slow, that's probably at least part of why. If it takes 3 streams, then it takes 3 streams. I mean, it might. It also might not. Who knows? Who knows? We'll find out soon enough. Ah. I haven't even looked at this bit. Okay, yeah, I like that. I think I should maybe let this bit touch the edge. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, sure. Actually, wait, no. Light's coming in that way. This away. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna erase that bit because I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll fix it another time. What time is it anyway? Almost 8 o'clock. Okay. Does that work? No. Not really. Let me just try. Yeah. Okay, maybe that works. It's getting windy out there. Wet and wild and windy. I'm not entirely sure about that. That's not quite right, is it? Okay. What if this? Zoom, enhance. I just take out this bit just to indicate the shape. No. Only other thing to do. Now I'm on the pencil. Yeah. Would be to do like that. See, the thing is that's too distracting. So I'm just gonna Alright, you know what? We're gonna worry about these later. So I'm still just not sure about this. hide it, run from it. Chunky black shading arrives all the same. Much as I try to get away from it, end up doing it again. That's okay, really. It's actually something I like, so you know. Kind of just go down there because that's where the arm is casting a shadow, I think. I don't want that to look like a hole. I'm gonna leave it for now. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll look at it and go, actually, you know, maybe that's okay. Or not, that's also a possibility. Sometimes you just gotta put it there, see what happens. Okay. Bad. Sure. I think with that though, I want to get rid of this and have one or the other, not both. Yeah. And I think a similar thing here. Oh god, I'm zooming out too far. Oh god, what did I do? Ah, there we go. I filled in all the bits I didn't mean to fill in. Yeah. You know, it still looks nice without that, but actually, where am I? Let me get to the lines. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fill this in because that does need to be filled in, regardless of anything else. I should have put those on the line layer to begin with. You know, I think I also do. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it'd be a classic thing for me to do, like to do all of this and then to be like, you know, I don't like it. But I tried something, although I think it can still work. Alright, I'm gonna try an experiment. Invert. And again, I'm gonna fill. No, refer only to editing layer, please. I'm gonna stick a border on this. See how that looks. There. That's a little bit. You know what? I think I should get rid of that. Yeah. Invert the selection first, you fool. It also makes me look at the silhouette, which is fun. Let's turn that back on. Border. Now we'll see if oh. Oh, there is a... I just realized something. This is always a place I forget. Okay, that's fine though. We just turn that layer back on. We just delete those areas. I do think it's a good silhouette. All right, let me try some more. We need some more shading down on this side as well. Other layers, please. Bloody hell. I'm really picking up out there. Try and yeah. No. So I'm just going full brain attention. Again. I'm not saying much. It's not a bad idea. I should maybe put it kind of down there though. Maybe not. How? Okay. That seems okay. Don't mind that. Let me see if this will provide the effect that I want. You can only know by trying. Yeah, that's actually kind of doing it. Let us continue. So now, no, is it this and then this? Or is that wrong? No, that's wrong. Yeah. It should be this and this now. Or is it just like that? Maybe it is. Let's try that. Whatever, shadows are weird. Who cares? Cartoons don't have to make perfect sense. Whoop. Same up here. Blimey. Just as an experiment. Yeah, I think actually we can just get rid of that. That. Switch this to white. Oh yeah, that looks much more like a gemstone. All right. Oh god. Oh, it's auto-saving. Good. Pure white highlighting is... Well, I mean, we'll see how this looks. Always change it later. It'll work well on like metallic bits. Like this. And on gemstones. Just a few little splotches. No. Okay, I think it should have something under here like that. If I'm going to do that, I need to have kind of come up there and then something like that. And then maybe this. Maybe it's coming together. Maybe I can let myself believe that. Still think there's maybe a bit too much heavy shading going on down there. So let's just kind of make it a little bit less. Yeah. I think this bit could probably come in some more. Have I looked at this enough today? Might be getting to that point. Yeah, it actually looks better with brighter background. I'll still keep it as grey for the moment. Oh, something I should do. I should have done this ages ago when I was doing this. But I really should just do a little. Just put a little signature on it. Okay, well, I think that's enough for today. But that's a good amount of progress. I might try and just finish it off tomorrow, just to get it done and just to round out the week in terms of art streams. But other than that, yeah, it's almost there. I think I might want to play around with some highlights some more. I don't know. There's always more you can do. You can always you can always keep working on it. And I might pull up some other things to study for next time for shading or whatever. Ugh, excuse me. Yeah. Alright, hit the save button. I'll figure out what to do with these things. I might just... Maybe I just get rid of this bit. Is it actually doing anything? Let's leave it there for now. Stop fiddling with it. It's time to wrap things up. Alright. That's it from today's stream. Thanks to those of you for who hung out for another chill art time. We had a good chat. And we'll do some more tomorrow. I might just keep going with this. I'm having a good time. Don't forget you can find the store if you want to buy some stuff to support the stream. store.streamhandbox.com/can'twearhats, or you can check the VODs on YouTube if you've missed anything. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.